Hello, beautiful people. I hope you're doing well. This is Bella speaking to you from Miami. I am really just today feeling so grateful for this window and connection that I can have with you on a weekly basis. It really, really means a lot to be able to open my heart and open this, be vulnerable with all of you and then get your feedback, get your responses, and just being able to be heard and have this exchange is one of the things I'm most grateful in my life. So just wanted to share that with you. And today, I want to share something with you that came up in a conversation with a friend I've reconnected with recently, which I'm also very grateful for this reconnection. And you'll find out why, because there is a collaboration brewing behind that. But we talked about not being enough. And the motivational coach is saying you are enough, I am enough. But I wanted to ask if any of you have experienced being too much. That's and what do you do with that? For me, the story of my life has been that I've always felt like I am too much, that I have too much energy, and I have too many desires that might be incompatible with what's allowed, quote unquote, in our society, that I might want too many things at the same time. And I'm sure a lot of you resonate with that, right? And so I wanted to explore this a little further. What does it mean when we're too much? First, I wanted to share with you some of the anecdotes to really highlight how this has played out in my life. I'm a Gemini, and I am a really high intensity, very high energy level person. And ever since I was a little child, I just had a lot of energy. So I would run around and recite poetry and sing and, dance around and march around the house. And while people, especially my parents, found it really cute, after a while it does get annoying. And so the comments of like, Bella, quiet, Bella, like, I definitely remember them as, even in a nice way, they were still ways that I started considering myself too much. Like I have to tone myself down to fit into that environment. And one day, a friend of my parents came to visit us, and he was sitting there, and mind you, it was only myself and no one else from children in the house. But I just did a great job of like reciting and dancing and doing all of these things. And by the end of his visit, the guy said, "I will never visit this house until you marry off all of your daughters." And mind you, it was only me. So, and that story has been told and retold so many times in a really positive way. But still, my whole life I felt that theme that like Bella is too much, and Bella is, I would always, on the weekends, I would be the one to get everyone ready for a hike because everyone would want to like stay in and have a chill time. The same themes would play out in my relationship later on. A feeling like I want too much. Why can't I just be happy with what I have? And in my professional life, I've gotten that often. I'm in a professional institution and we arrive at a beautiful hotel, and instead of just being content with seeing the view and then going to the meetings like normal people do, I would want to get up an hour early and go to the beach and run and then afterwards go out dancing at night and still make it to the meetings. What's wrong with that? So I want to speak to those of you that have felt that have felt like you are too much, because I've recently realized how much that has created these walls inside of me of limiting myself, limiting some of the abilities, some of my, multidisciplinary abilities to do maybe more than some people can. One of the strengths that Geminis have is being able to work across different disciplines and be multitaskers, and we excel at that. And there are other people who are really good at, doing one thing at a time, being really focused. And I think in our society, there should be room for both. And yet somehow this doing too much is still misunderstood. Wanting too much from life, like really just wanting to draw everything out of life, is still seen negatively, especially for women. One of the reasons I kind of accepted at first that I was too much, and I, stuck to my limited roles that I kind of saw that were accepted by the society, and others slowly started dying out. But then it was my own body, and this is why I've created the whole method about listening to the body. My body started getting sick to awaken me back to my expansiveness, because it was saying, hey, you're not doing everything that you should and want to do. You should really go back to doing things that you really enjoy doing, despite the fact that it might not fit into the scripts of the society. And time and again, I've received these warning signals by my body. And that's why, after a couple of these, like being really sick and recovering miraculously from these debilitating issues, I finally have intolerance for living my life anything less than this big, powerful way that I feel inside. And when you experience a lack of health, a lack of vitality, this confinement to bed, and maybe even the possibility of mortality being really close to you, when you get in touch with that breath of possible death, you become really, really awakened to living life fully in every moment. And that's something that I don't, it took me 40 years to come to that, but I don't feel ashamed anymore to live my life to the fullest every day of my life. And if for other people it seems like it's too much, then we're just on different vibrations. And that's something that I wanted to encourage you. It's not something, it's like when you are constantly reprimanded or looked down upon for ways that you are, and you feel inside that this is how I am, but people are not understanding me. It might be that it's not something that's wrong with you, and it's not something wrong with them either. It's just that you are in a wrong environment for yourself. It's the story of the ugly duckling. If you're born to be flying and soaring the skies, if you're not doing that, then you might feel completely this energy will actually turn against you and hurt you in the end. So just want to really encourage you to really tap into that greatness. And everyone has that. Everyone has given up something in life to fit in somewhere, whether it's the family life, whether it's in a professional life. Don't give up that greatness. Don't give up that something that really you're passionate about, you're excited about, that makes you expand, because that's precisely what's going to make you healthy. That's going to make your relationships flourish, and it's going to attract you to the right people to create the really beautiful relationships where one helps each other grow rather than stagnating each other's growth. And by being in this expansive state at all times, you also are transforming our societies, because you're saying, I am not content with the status quo that's keeping us down at some kind of a suboptimal level. I'm not content with the way the government is doing its job. I'm not content with the way that schools are. I'm not content with the education. There is more. And you really believe and feel that inside, and you go for that different model, despite the fact that you don't even see it in the reality. But this expansion is so strong inside of you that you cannot do it any other way, but really delve into this future that you feel vibrating inside of you. And then slowly, the more you do that, the more you attract people who are resonating in the same frequency, and then you create this reality together. And that actually is a smooth transition on my part into manifestations. That's how it actually happens. But just to close off this video, really explore and look into the areas of yourself that feel like that have been hurt, that have been put down, especially look back when you were a child, like what are some of the things that you were constantly told not to do and you really wanted to, and and really go back and try to recover that vitality, that passion, that desire, that childlike exuberance. And that's where you're gonna find your greatest treasures. Thanks for listening. See you next time. And I'll be traveling to Armenia and then Switzerland, Brazil. So you might find you might find my videos all over the place in the world. I look forward to connecting with you from all of those different places. Thanks for listening.